Okay, it's right around 9:20 a.m. on Thursday, December 14th, 2023. The pest control inspectors were just in here, the exterminators, and I cleared out everything from under the sink. Those are the items that I had under the sink. So there's like a toolbox and bags of recycling bags and soap and things like that. And they said that they did not find any signs of mice. They moved my stove. I'm talking about the exterminators. They moved my stove. They looked behind it. They looked behind the fridge, or they tried to move the fridge. They even looked, behind my bed or next to the bed, and they were looking for signs of mice. And they said they found absolutely no signs of mice. Like, there's no mice in here, is what they said. But I have a video from about 12 days ago with a mouse literally jumping off the back of the stove, running across the back of the sink, and running behind the refrigerator. I have that on video, and this video is on YouTube. You can see it at 7 minutes and 17 seconds into the video. You can see a mouse running across the back of the sink. So I just showed that video to the exterminator, and that's when they're like, oh, yeah, you do have mice in here. And because they saw the mouse on the video running behind the sink, they decided that that's where the mice are hanging out, like somewhere behind this corner right here, and they're going to try to move the refrigerator. I thought the mice were maybe hanging out underneath the sink because that's where I hear them. And there must be some kind of access point between the bathroom of Unit 78 and my sink. And that's where I always hear the mice, is like right here. I always hear them right here. But the exterminator said that they're probably coming from behind the refrigerator, which again is the bathroom of 78. That's what I keep saying in my videos. All of the crazy crap that keeps happening in this unit, just the nonstop, like insane fumes and smoke, rodents, bugs, smacking noises, remote control stun gun use, comes from behind this wall. And throughout the entire morning today, starting at around 5:15 a.m., just after I got up, somebody started smoking really intensely right behind this wall. And I had to open my window. It's still open. It is wide open right now, and it is 28 degrees in Boston right now at 9:15 a.m. So let me show you on the screen of my other phone how cold it is outside right now, and how, in spite of how cold it is outside, I have to keep this window open because of the nonstop marijuana fumes and some kind of, smells like someone is vaping. There's a really sweet, smoky smell coming from behind that wall, so maybe it's a type of crack or something. But there's been nonstop fumes coming from behind this wall throughout the entire morning, starting at 5:15 a.m. So now it's about 9:25. So for the last 4 hours now, someone has been continuously smoking directly behind that wall because they're a psychotic nut job and a homicidal psychopath named Jasmine Arizari, who continues to access the vacant premises of the unit behind this wall where she was housed by the Greenville Group for 9 of the last 10 years. And because she's a mentally disturbed, off-the-rails psychotic stalker, she can't stay away from the former unit where she basically spent the last 9 years sitting behind this wall doing exactly what she's doing right now, which is filling this corner with marijuana fumes and all kinds of intense smoke of like cigars or crack or something. And because the smoke is so intense, I keep having to just leave the door to the hallway open. And it's cold outside and there's no heat in this unit. That's the other issue that I keep mentioning in my videos. There's no heat in this unit. These baseboards are completely cold. Oh, wow. Yeah, so the exterminators definitely moved everything out of the way. They said that this is where the mice are hanging out, behind the fridge, and they want management to move the fridge, but they can't move the fridge themselves. They said it's like stuck to the floor or something. Yeah. So I showed the exterminator the video of the mouse running across the back of my sink and across the back of my kitchen counter. And that's when they believed that I have mice in here. But before I showed them the video, they didn't believe me. They said there's absolutely no signs of mice in here, which is crazy because I can hear mice running around back here pretty much every night. Like right around, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. That's when they start coming out. Literally, they start coming out of the walls at night. And I hear them under the sink. So as per management's request, I moved all kinds of boxes out of the way, did some sweeping, cleared the underneath part of the sink out of the way. They moved the bed, but that's fine. So that's where things stand right now with the extermination. And it's only 9:15, 9:20, so I still have the rest of the day to get stuff done. Oh, and let me show you how cold it is outside right now. But because of the nonstop marijuana fumes that keep coming from behind this wall, and they're not coming from the hallway again, otherwise I wouldn't be able to keep the door open for ventilation. If the fumes are actually coming from the hallway, I would have to close the door to protect my airspace from the smoke coming from the hallway. But the smoke never comes from the hallway. Nobody ever stands outside of my door in the hallway long enough to fill my entire bathroom and this entire kitchen sink area, even with the window open, with nonstop overpowering amounts of marijuana fumes and cigar fumes. But it's freezing outside and I have to keep that window open because that's the only way to ventilate the space. Okay, so as I was saying, it's 29 degrees in Boston right now. And it says now, yeah, 29. At 10 a.m. it's going to be all the way up to 32. That's amazing. Check that out. It's going to be a heat wave at 10 a.m. 32 degrees today at 10 a.m. Now feels like 21. It's freezing outside, but again, because of the intense and overpowering nonstop marijuana fumes that have been coming from behind this wall right here, from the vacant, permanently empty premises of the bathroom of Unit 78, I have had to keep that window open 1.5 feet for the last 4 hours now, and keep that door to the hallway open also for the last 4 hours, because some psychopath, sex offender, nut job, creep, stalker named J. Irizarry has been accessing her former bathroom and engaging in the same exact pattern of stalking, intrusive behavior, attention-seeking disruption, and harassment from directly behind this wall for the last 4 hours now, as she did during the 9 years that she actually was officially housed in that unit by the Greenville Group. She continues to live in this building, very obviously, as evident by the fact that my personal items keep disappearing from this unit or getting vandalized within a few hours to a day or two of me having them in here. A pair of pantyhose that I had kept right over there at the top of that pile, because I was, wearing them occasionally for dressed up events. Those pantyhose have disappeared in the last 2 weeks. Underwear, brand new pairs of underwear I just bought, also disappeared. The headphones that I had wrapped up in a plastic and stored at the bottom of a zipped up pouch in my tote bag have disappeared. Brand new nutrition bars that I had just purchased were vandalized and contaminated within a few hours of me bringing them home and leaving them in a bag right by that door. And when I went down the hall to the bathroom for maybe 2 minutes, did not lock my door, but closed it, that psychopath got in here and somehow vandalized those nutrition bars. And eating them suddenly made me sick, when eating the first nutrition bar straight out of the package just outside the store did not. So, this psychopath, J. Irizarry, is a hideous, stinking piece of crap. And all she does is literally stink up this entire corner by smoking some kind of substance, marijuana, cigars, constantly. And the result of that is I have to keep the window open and the door to this hallway open as well. It's a safety issue because the creep next door tends to get pretty aggressive sometimes. And he likes to loudly masturbate against the shared wall occasionally when I do certain things in the privacy of this unit, but not others, such as just changing out of my clothes or doing back stretches on my bed when I try to stretch out my lower back. That seems to get him really worked up. So I really don't like to keep the door open, but I have to for ventilation because, again, there's a very mentally disturbed psychopath who keeps accessing the vacant premises of her former unit located directly behind this wall. How she gets in there, I don't know. All I know is that there's noises coming from back there and constant odors and fumes. The odors and fumes never come from the hallway. They also don't come from below because they continue to occur independently of the presence of anyone directly below. There have been workmen pretty frequently in Unit 76 directly below, on and off over the last few months. And often when the workmen are actually working below, there's constant fumes and smoke coming from the bathroom behind this wall, because the smoke and fumes come from the bathroom behind this wall and not from below, as management keeps trying to pretend is happening. No, the fumes do not come from below, you pathetic idiots. There is a ton of really dense building and construction materials that separates this floor from the floor below. And in order to support the weight of all of these appliances, furniture, and items on this floor, the the floor is really densely packed with insulation and beams and flooring and linoleum and more insulation and ceiling materials that prevent smoke from filling this unit from the unit below. The smoke only comes from that wall because that's where the psychopath keeps accessing the premises. So there's no heat. The water from that tap stinks like sewage. I kept having to go down the hall to the common bathroom throughout the morning to get clean, fresh water, to wash my hands, to rinse out my mouth. I cannot put that water from that tap anywhere in my mouth. When I do, it makes me sick. It also smells absolutely foul. And again, there's a psychopath sitting in the bathroom behind this wall, getting really agitated and worked up. And I could tell when she's really agitated because you literally are dealing with like massive amounts of intense marijuana fumes that fill this corner even when the window is wide open and the door to the hallway is open. There's also no heat in here, as I keep saying. No heat. Baseboards are ice cold. I mean, I could leave my hand on here for hours. This is metal. It's a conductor substance. So even if there was, it's a conductor material rather, not a substance. It's a material. And if there was even a tiny amount of heat in the pipe connected to this metal covering, the metal covering would expand the heat and radiate it outward. That's the whole point of having these baseboard louvers or whatever you want to call them. And there would be heat in here, but there's no heat. So I can just comfortably leave my hand on here for hours. Yep, no heat. Greenville is refusing to provide heat in this unit. In fact, let's give them a call. So yeah, I just checked the weather again, and it is now 9:45 a.m. Boston weather. What does it say? Oh, whatever. Let's just close this. Okay. Yeah, 29 degrees right now. And Greenville is not providing any heat in this unit. It's freezing, and not only is it freezing outside, but I have to keep the window open because there's this mentally disturbed psychopath named Jade Irizarry who they continue to choose to house in this building, even though last time I checked, this building is not a mental asylum. But by housing her in this building and others like her, like the psychotic thug directly below in 76 and the chronically compulsive masturbator in 88, they're turning this building into a de facto mental hospital, and it's not zoned for being a mental hospital. Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again. Oh, whoops. Let's try this again. Anytime. For rentals, press 1. For maintenance, press 2. If you're interested in selling a property, press 3. For the office directory, press 4, or press 0 for the front desk. After the tone, please leave a detailed message with your name and number so we may get back to you when we return. Hi there. It's right around 9:45 a.m. on Thursday, December 14th, 2023. I'm calling from Unit 89 to report that there's still no heat in Unit 89 at this time, and temperatures outside are 29 degrees right now at 9:45 a.m., according to the Google weather report. So can you please send somebody up here to Unit 89 to figure out why the baseboards are ice cold and there's absolutely no warmth in this unit whatsoever, aside from the little warmth that I get from the sun hitting the windows in the morning. This is an ongoing code violation. You guys are incapable of regulating the heat in Unit 89, and it's just insane. At the same time, there have been intense and overpowering amounts of marijuana fumes coming from the vacant premises of the bathroom of 78 behind the wall of my kitchen sink and behind the wall of my toilet and shower. So whoever keeps somehow accessing the area of the bathroom of 78, I know that there's a double wall also in Unit 78 that's 3 feet wide, and there's a separate access point for the inside of that double wall that does not require entry into Unit 78 to get into that double wall. It's the first thing that you notice when you walk into Unit 78. There's just this massive wall that is actually as wide as a regular closet would be, as a walk-in closet, and there's no door into that wall, so there's a separate access point or separate entry point for the area inside that wall. somewhere else in the building, and whoever keeps smoking marijuana directly behind the wall of my toilet and behind the wall of my kitchen sink seems to be sitting inside of that double wall or around that double wall and fills my entire kitchen sink and bathroom area with marijuana fumes that go on for hours and hours. These intense marijuana fumes started filling my bathroom this morning and my kitchen sink area at 5:15 a.m. I was not trying to use the bathroom. I was simply going in and out to start organizing my unit for preparation for the pest control inspection this morning. And whoever keeps accessing the premises of Unit 78 started filling my bathroom at 5:15 a.m. with overpowering intense marijuana fumes that required that I open my window a foot and a half and keep the door to the hallway continuously open. Even though I was freezing, I have had to open the window and keep it open for the last 4 hours now. There's obviously a very mentally disturbed psychopath, registered sex offender, reported psychopath, according to the police, and evident cybercriminal named Jasmine Irizarry, who you housed in the bathroom of Unit 78 for 9 of the last 10 years. And that's where she spent most of her life, in that bathroom, not in her unit, but in that bathroom, being disruptive against the wall that bathroom shares with my kitchen sink area and with my bathroom. And she continues to access the now vacant premises of her former unit. And she continues to engage in the same exact psychotic, dysfunctional, dysregulated pattern of stalking, harassment, and intrusive behavior now as she did during the 9 years that she was officially housed in Unit 78. So again, right now there's no heat in Unit 89. Please send maintenance up here to see why the baseboard pipes are continuously ice cold. If you have any questions, I can be reached at 617-459-0208. I am recording this voice message for legal purposes and will be submitting it to the court as evidence that there are ongoing health and safety issues and breaches of habitation in Unit 89 for which I am not legally required to pay rent because you're refusing to do anything about these issues, and I have notified you in the past about these issues, especially the no heat situation. Thank you. Okay, let's hang this call up now. There we go. Okay, so that was a long voicemail, but they don't seem to get it. They don't seem to understand what I'm trying to tell them, that there's no heat in this unit. There's nonstop fumes and odors. I have to keep the window wide open. I can't go into my bathroom without getting hit by a wall of marijuana smoke. It's constantly there. No fumes and odors in the hallway, etc.